I have a cheap 8-foot 3-weight fly rod here today. I'm going to show you why when you try to cast your ultralight light fly rod, you're having difficulty adding more distance to it. Chris Myers, Orlando Fly Casting Lessons. Been teaching fly casting here in Central Florida for over 15 years. And a lot of people hit a wall in their fly casting where all of a sudden 5 feet more seems like a complete impossibility. And I'm going to show you what's likely happening to your cast based on the hundreds and hundreds of people I've worked with. I see the same kind of things happening over and over and over. So let's start off with our little short cast, like most of us are doing with a 3-weight. In general, we are not casting these super far. We're probably making little short casts that you can make 100% wrist, and it goes out just fine. I have maybe 20 feet of fly line. Let's see here. I got 8 there, 16, 17 feet of fly line plus a leader. So it's a 27-foot cast outside the tip. The rod's 8 foot, so we're over 30 feet away from where I'm standing. And that's probably a reasonable distance for most of you fishing in little streams, close to the shore and ponds, bluegill, panfish, little trout, etc. What happens if you wanted to take that cast and you wanted to get from 30 to 45, you wanted to get maybe 30 feet of fly line outside your tip? What happens to most of you is you take this cast, which was working just fine, and instead of changing there's really only 2 things you can do. We can do it harder, or we can move the rod longer, or we can combine those together in some kind of fashion. In fly casting, however, if we're going to have a narrow loop which looks something like this, we must move that tip in a straight line. The instant we deviate from that straight line, that loop begins to disappear. When you were making your little short cast, that straight line was easy to do 100% wrist. When you start to have to move the rod farther to add more line, and you don't move anything but your wrist, it becomes less and less of a straight line and more of a disaster, where that cast didn't go near as far as the one that was going in a straight line. And if there's any kind of breeze like that right there, all of a sudden it blows my fly way off to the side. It's not even enough to ripple the water, but this breeze I can feel now blew that fly line way off course. When we're going to cast longer with your 3-weight, with a 7-weight, with a 10, with a 12, whatever rod, if you're going to maintain the loop, that tip has to go back and forth in a straight line. And if we start reaching back in longer strokes, that fly line goes out 50 feet plus, but it can still be done if I'm making, this is the same stroke I make with my 7-weight, way back here if I'm going to cast this much line. If you want to start adding more distance to your ultralight cast, you must start reaching the tip back farther. From here where you were, it needs to go back here, and it needs to go back in a straight line. And the only way you can get it back there is to reach back here. You can't get it back there in a straight line by bending your wrist some more. So first order of business when it's not working for you is to look and see. If I see this butt kicking up and the tip going down, I know for sure I am making that rod move in a curved pattern, not in a straight line. If I see the butt following a little short straight line, like so, the tip is likely doing it as well, if I'm not overbending it. And with light fly rods, we start to add too much power, even when we try to go in a straight line. There was very little candy cane J-shaped loop going on during those strokes because that tip was so overbent. It was counterflexing down. It was like this, and it would stop and it would counterflex down the other way, ruining my loop. We cannot be overpowering these rods, and if you can hear your rod whipping back and forth, you're going 1 speed, full speed, all the way across, way too fast speed. Be the gentlest caster on the planet. Nice and gentle. Longer, gentle casts will get you out much, much farther. Your arm and hand will thank you for it. and you'll be catching a lot more fish because of that. If you're going to be in the Orlando area, you can come see me for a one-on-one casting tune-up. I also offer video fly casting tune-ups. And if none of those are going to work for you, be sure to check out some more of my fly casting videos like this one right here.